Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today, and many thanks for Altoros Coology and GoData Driven to make this event happen. As you can see on the screen, I'm Michael, and I am a software engineer, chatbot engineer, working in ABN AMRO since February. Today I'm going to talk about the NLP as a base of a chatbot implementation. So I'm not going to go deeper into technical things, but I'm going to stay on the surface. So how many of you have ever talked with a chatbot? I think many of you. Yeah, so you know what the chatbot is, right? Please raise your hands. Good. So in this sentence, it's described as a computer program designed to simulate conversation with human users, especially over the internet. So you can have it locally also, of course, but it's going to need a lot of data to simulate the conversation. So yeah, now here we have the what is chatbot from Wikipedia. So what is NLP? How many of you know what is NLP, natural language processing? Good, very nice. So natural language processing is the application of computational techniques to analysis and synthesis of natural language and speech, as the previous presenter told us. So how all started with natural language processing? All started with a very nice psychobot called Elisa, made from MIT, Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, 1964, which was able to speak with users and try to simulate some psychotherapy problem solving. Like, I'm having a problem. What's your problem? I'm feeling that I am depressed. Why do you feel that you are depressed? So it started to change the face of the user. So I was speaking from the first phase, so it turns into the second. So there was something like human-like interaction with the chatbot. So next we have Alice. Alice was a better experience of Elisa. It's based on Elisa actually, and made from the acronym is Artificial Linguistic Intercomputer Entity, and had a really nice hit back then in '95. But with artificial intelligence inside and natural language processing techniques, didn't pass the Turing test. Do you know what the Turing test is? So the test that says if the program is really artificial intelligent. Then we have Cleverbot. Cleverbot is something nearby with Tay of Microsoft. So we have now reinforcement learning over some natural language processing techniques. So now we have the users to get us input for what the bot will say. This happened to '95. And now, today, we have other bots like KLM's bot, our bot Anna from Alaska Airlines, or Rocky from IBM, to handle users' needs. So, for my case study, I made a bot back in Greece. It's called Botakis, and yes, it's made from bots and Akis. Akis is the postfix of someone from from the island of Crete, as my name, of course, yeah. And it was really a nice hit back then. At the early stage of Botakis, we had a decision tree to handle some information from the users, like some general questions, like a chit chat with users, and that was pretty good. People are starting to were starting to say things and ask things to Botakis. Then we decided to start play with the weather and saying the weather to people, like what's the weather in Athens, or what's the weather in one of the major countries in Greece. And there was a problem back then. Because of the decision tree, we have pre-decided the cities that we want to answer. So if someone asked about New York, for example, the bot will say the default, which was Athens, and that was really bad as a user experience. So we needed to go deeper into this implementation, and we said, okay, we need something to build to recognize that the person is looking up for cities. And so we came out to build the first Greek NLP in order to recognize entities inside the speech. So with the new NLP, we were able to understand the cities over the words. So we can deliver the weather anywhere. So by this, we extended much further by saying, let's give them some recommendations of restaurants in specific areas, or let's give them some hotels, even if cheap or expensive. There were a difference between them, in a specific area, of course. So after this, we went to names, started with the NLP to understand names from the persons, and they started to ask Chaniotakis with a new controller that we had their name days. So now if I'm saying I want to know Sophie's name day, the bot will return me the exact date. So it was able to recognize the name over a sentence, sorry. And then time. Well, who has a name day at 21st of December, for example, or set an alarm on 22nd December. Things like that. Wasn't possible without an NLP solution. So, NLP, first time in Greece, we started with tagging, a part of speech tagging with nouns, pronouns, verbs, and adjectives. Then we went through stemming, reducing and reflecting the words to their word stem, base, or root. And then double meaning, because we have a lot of things in Greek that they have double meaning, like an idea, maybe an actual idea from the brain, or it could be something little. Let's say, I want an idea of sugar, instead of having something on the brain. Sorry. Yeah. Then we started to recognize intentions, that I want to say something, or I want to send something to another user, or I want to be reminded of something, or I want to play a game with you. Let's play dice. And then we came out with all of these to a new formula beside the decision tree, which was the action had parameters of who, what, and when through the NLP. So we passed all the sentences, and by this formula we were able to deliver the best experience to our customers. Some of statistics that we have passed more than 1.4 thousand conversations, and we were more than 75% accurate on this. So what NLP offers, why we need to have it as a base in chatbot implementation, we need it for accuracy, because we don't want the user to ask something and the bot not reply correctly. That will be a wrong experience for the user. So with NLP, we stress down the chatbot to give us the best answer, to give us the best recognition of what the user wants to have. So with this, we deliver better experience. It's more human-like. Of course, we need to train the NLP in order to get some data back. It's not that simple. So we have chatbot's actions, convinces, so no scope failures. And by that, we understand syntax, semantics, morphology, and pragmatics, which is the base of literature, Great. So in ABN AMRO, we're delivering Anna to our clients. Right now, we only have a FAQ service, which is live, and you can ask Anna of some specific topics like foreign transfers or ADA payments or things like internet banking. But we're making small steps through the NLP, and we are now creating our own NLP solution in order to deliver to our customers the best experience that can have. So, yeah, you can find Anna on ABN AMRO's website. So, thank you. I think I was really fast of everything. I just wanted to cover some things why we need NLP and not be so technical. That we have any questions? Yes?
How do you know you had 75% accuracy on your 1.5 million sentences?
Excellent question. Because we did a Q-learning algorithm in order to find if we were correct on giving answers to people, and sentiment analysis if they were happy. This is how we know.
So the user that spoke a sentence had to rate the answer more or less. Was there an independent?
If the user asked again, some word differently, or were mean with us, so we failed. If the user were happy about it, so say that thank you or a positive thing, that sentiment analysis could handle, could recognize, it was good for us.
Okay.
Please.
So I don't have much of a tech background. I'm a linguist, so I have more of a linguistics question for you. You mentioned syntax, semantics, morphology, pragmatics. I understand how this technology can work with syntax and semantics, but pragmatics is something totally different, and I think Mary Jo touched on this a little bit as well. How does, across cultures and across countries, you have different meanings for different things, and things like tone or sarcasm are very hard for, I would imagine, for a bot to understand. So how does that work in one context, and then how long does it take for a bot to understand it in, let's say, a different cultural context?
It depends on the data that you have. If you have enough data to train your bot to understand between two different words the meaning, because you may be on the south and you mean something else, you need to train the bot to recognize maybe a previous chat that we have. So to recognize if you were from south, to change the intention system to the southern recognition in order to deliver you back the correct answer. But you need to have data for it. You need to train it a lot.
Okay.
Yes?
What platform are you using to develop the bot?
For my bot, for Takis, I used Cloud and the Node.js, and the NLP, the first version of NLP was made on Node.js as well.
Okay, but if we use an operating bot platform, like Google or AWS or IBM?
No, it was from scratch. Takis was from scratch.
In HANA?
In every number, we were using Cloud. Yeah, for infrastructure, if you.
And how do you handle GDPR?
GDPR. Of course, we came with the vendors, and they have told us everything about GDPR, and they are compliant. So we are continuing to work with them.
The personal data of the users is basically going into the bot, so it's like there is a retention.
Right now, there is no personal data from that collected from the user, because it's not into the internet banking side, it's outside to the world, so you can anonymously ask Anna anything that you want. So it's not inside the internet banking. Anna right now doesn't know about your money or accounts.
What's the main motivation behind building your NLP?
the motivation was to better understand and deliver a better experience to customers. Like a simple decision-making tree isn't fair enough to cover all the topics in a sentence. You need something more to deliver better experience. So we needed to find out a way, and we found, to create some services, some plugins, let's say it, and then use the NLP in order to discover more from this sentence, the user sentence. Yes, please.
Can you maybe tell us a bit about the architecture of your bot?
The architecture, like?
Yeah, you have your NLP, and maybe you recognize an intent, and then how do you build
the first page was the tagging system, just tags, and we were able to recognize nouns, adjectives, and pronouns in order to get back cities. Then we started to build upon it more training data, and we started to recognize cities because of capital or some data that we had into the database. Then we started to recognize intents, like I want to sell something, or I want to find a cheap restaurant. So, yeah.
So first it's recognize how he or she wants to know something about the weather, and then you see how city.
Yeah, of course.
City is New York.
Yes, yes,
weather,
exactly.
New York.
Exactly. We wanted first to recognize that the intention of the user, and then we send this intention action, as you saw in the formula, into the right plugin, and this one, with the help of NLP, delivered back as the result.
But what if it didn't come up with something?
It will say, I can help you, because it was in early stage.
Yeah.
And as you can see, there was only 75 percent of accuracy. So there were always false positives or false negatives, but it's an early stage. If you have more data to train it, you can deliver better experience again.
But what are useful cases for chatbots right now, you would say? Because sometimes you just can't handle it, because only...
You try to give back some suggestions to the user. Do you mean like this? Or do you want to choose from a list? This could help the user could help the bot better understand the user. Another question? No? Thank you very much.